Welcome to Friday's TNT, and if you don't already know, I did a quick post in yesterday's YouTube during the afternoon, but there's not going to be a parliamentary sitting. There's going to be no vote today for the Thai Prime Minister, and I'll explain why a little bit later on in the program. In fact, quite a lot of little interesting political tidbits, but we'll get to that later. But to this first, which came from a gentleman called Bruce Stanley, and he said 6 hours ago, well, this was this morning about 7 a.m, Tim, why are you promoting paranoia without facts? What's the point of your narrative? Certainly does nothing to enhance your credibility. This is in relation to the story about changes or possible changes to O and OA visas, known as retirement visas, and the extensions. Now, I just wanted to go to exactly where what I was quoting in relation to this story, because it's important to understand that I don't just make these things up. I'm just quoting from publications, in this case, the Bangkok Post. And the story was talking about driving out the gangs, and it was posted on the 1st of August. And there's a lot of quotes in there from the Deputy Police Commissioner of Thailand, Surachat Hakpan. Now, apart from the fact that I've met this gentleman in the past, he's known to get things done. He's a bit of the, he ran foul with the police at one stage, but that's quite a different story. But when he says something, he's saying it because he usually means it, and he's trying to usually send a message out to the wider public. Let's go to the points that he was making, and it was under a heading amending the law. And this is after a whole lot of preamble about cracking down on bikie gangs, naming those gangs and saying they want to run them out of town. But further down it said amending the law. And he was citing the Immigration Act as an example. He said the 1979 law is outdated and needs to be amended. For example, he said, requirements for obtaining a retirement visa are easy. Adding the law requires any foreigner aged at least 50 years old to have at least 800,000 baht in their bank account, or an income certificate with a monthly salary not less than 65,000 baht. He says that requirement is too low and doesn't help screen quality applicants. Now, these are his words, not mine. He says a lack of inspection of bank statements by Immigration Bureau officers, and the Immigration Bureau officers have been a target of his in the past. It also leaves room for some foreigners to window dress their bank accounts. He says some even get help from visa agents or Immigration Bureau officers, such as in the case in which 107 immigration officers helped more than 3,000 Chinese nationals involved in grey businesses obtain visas in February. And that investigation is, well, sadly ongoing. We don't know what the fate of those immigration officers is at the moment. And then he said once a new government is in place, he will propose through the police chief that the new cabinet amend the immigration law, especially for visa extensions. And he said, we will make the law tough to screen out bad people, but the law will also be a tool to help foreigners, especially investors, who can obtain a 5-year visa without the need to be checked every year. And that refers to the new long-term resident visas. So they're the words quoted in the Bangkok Post from the Deputy Police Chief Surachat Hakpan. So, Mr. Stanley, I'm not drumming up paranoia. I went out of my way on Wednesday and Thursday to say that nothing has happened yet. There's no proposals to the new government. We don't even have a new government. But we do have the Deputy Police Chief saying that he does want to amend the Immigration Act, and that could include amendments to the O and OA visas. So, Mr. Stanley, I don't mind you making comments about what you think about Mr. Hakpan's proposals, but don't attack me and say that I'm drumming up paranoia, because I'm not. Now, moving to another Bangkok Post story, and this is an update to the big story of the explosion down in Narathiwat last Saturday. A firework couple hiding in Malaysia. The two owners of a fireworks warehouse that exploded recently in Narathiwat have been hiding out in Malaysia, according to police. They say the two 42-year-olds have not contacted officers to turn themselves in. And the couple were summoned due to the explosion at their warehouse on July the 29th, which killed 12 people, injured 121 and damaged 292 houses. And a source said the couple are backed by local politicians whose business involves smuggling fireworks, cigarettes, liquor, narcotics and workers. The source mentioned that back in 2016, they'd been arrested for storing and selling 60 tonnes of fireworks and other flammable materials without a permit. However, the prosecutor did not file the case with the provincial court. And then get this one. Specifically, a high-profile activist requested an investigation into the Lam Chabang Port Customs Office, the Royal Thai paramilitary force in Muno Sub-District, and officials from the Internal Security Operations Command and 4th Army Region. And he said bringing fireworks into Narathiwat, a province governed by an emergency decree and the Internal Security Act, would require approval from the ISOC, which I've underlined up the top there. It remains unclear whether bribes were involved. And down the bottom there, the Narathiwat governor said most of the injured victims had returned home from the shelter as they were concerned about their property. And the Prime Minister, Prayut Chan-o-cha, will reportedly fly to Narathiwat today to visit the site. Of course, he's the caretaker Prime Minister at the moment. Going to ThaiPBSWorld.com, and this is a follow-up to the Ashton Asoke Condo story. And the story says that the developer knew the risk of using MRTA land for access. So the developers had negotiated with the developers of the nearby BTS to use some of their land, but apparently they couldn't do that. And the developer of the luxury Ashton Asoke condominium in Bangkok's Asoke district was fully aware of the MRTA land it was using for access to and from Asoke Road, and that it must take responsibility were there to be a problem. This is according to the Deputy Bangkok Governor. A bit further down, he said that the BMA did point out to the Ashton Asoke condominium developer back in 2015 to 17 that if there is any problem over the use of the MRTA land for access in the future, the developer will be held accountable, and it was fully aware of the risk. The Deputy Governor said the issue today is not the safety of the building but the road access to and from the condominium. And the Bangkok Governor Chadchart said he has instructed the department to send a notice to Ananda Development by close of business today, instructing them to report to the BMA on progress in solving the road access problem within 30 days. He did say further down, City Hall has no plans to demolish the condo, and the developer's been approaching several landowners around the condo seeking to buy land to turn into an alternative road access to Sukhumvit Soi 19, which is the Asoke Road. The attempt has not yet been successful because those approached so far are not interested in selling their land, as they don't need the money, and because some of them have had bad experiences with the developer during the construction when debris fell from the building site onto their property, over which they'd lodged several complaints with the Watana District Office. Yes, condo developers and the nearby residents, always a happy marriage. So it looks like the Ashton Asoke Tower there has got a problem. They're going to have to invent some sort of new access, and that's going to be an ongoing story. But at least the BMA have said, well, they're not going to have to pull down the tower. Just people may not be able to get in and out sometime in the future. So Friday's TNT and a minor emergency. This would just make me happy. I dug into the archives yesterday and I found that we in fact did our first TNT on the 8th of August last year. So that means I've only got 4 days to go to reach the magic 25,000 subscribers. Now, nothing really happens. It'll just put a big smile on my face if I can reach that sort of quarter century. So if you haven't subscribed, you've got 4 days to make an old man happy and subscribe to the channel. As I keep on saying, I'm not going to send you emails. It doesn't cost you anything. Nothing really happens. I mean, the sun will still come up tomorrow morning. But if you subscribe to the channel and I can get over that 25,000, I'll certainly be happy, and I promise to keep on trying to do the best I can to deliver an interesting news and commentary program each day. Stories like this from the Bangkok Post. Man's pelvis found at dump on Full Moon Party Island. And a pelvis believed to belong to a foreign man has been found along with intestines at a dump on Koh Phangan, the southern island famous for its full moon parties, police said yesterday. Koh Phangan is a ferry ride from Koh Samui and very popular, of course, for its monthly full moon party. A bit further down there, the pelvis weighed about 5 kilograms and was about 50 centimetres wide. Police believe it belonged to a foreign man because of its large size. Yeah, that's quite wide. And it was found inside a fertiliser sack that also held a black bag containing human intestines. And police estimate the death had taken place at least 24 hours before the body parts were found. They believe the waste collector had picked up the sack from another location on the tourist island without realising what was inside. And police are now trying to trace back the location where the sack originated and are looking for more body parts. So a bit of a mystery there on Koh Phangan. I'm sure we're going to hear more about that story. We go to The Nation now and to Pattaya. An stoned German strips down, threatens to jump from Pattaya condo. And a semi-naked German national climbed over an 8th floor balcony at a Pattaya condominium and threatened to jump yesterday. The 61-year-old man stood on the outer ledge of the top floor apartment wearing only his underpants. He also hurled objects down from the condo, which is located in the Bang Lamung district, and his wife alerted Pattaya police, said her husband had started smoking marijuana heavily at around 3 a.m. She said he was stressed about a legal case overseas. She said he started shouting and couldn't control himself. He shouted he did not want to live anymore. Then he climbed out of the balcony saying he wanted to kill himself. And police spent 5 hours trying to persuade him to return to the apartment, but to no avail. Police officers eventually managed to grab the man, pull him to safety. He was later taken to the Bang Lamung hospital for rest and recuperation. So well done, Thai police. It looks like there was a lot of patience offered on that one, and we do hope the man is able to recover and sort out his problems. And to Phuket, and this from PhuketExpress.com. Russian man drowns at Phuket beach after allegedly ignoring no swimming warnings. When I first saw this, I thought, what, another one? I think this is 5 drownings in 7 days in Phuket along the west coast. And the story says a Russian tourist drowned at a beach in Talang. The incident happened on Thursday evening on Surin Beach. Police arrived at the beach, had red flags placed by lifeguards, which meant no swimming was allowed along the beach, and a foreign man was provided CPR by lifeguards on the beach. He was 41, a Russian national. He was rushed to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. And the Phuket Express go on to say that this is the 5th person to drown recently in Phuket during this past week, with 4 of them being foreign tourists. Officials are reportedly meeting to discuss ways to better stop people from swimming during rough weather and provide better support from lifeguards. So, 5 people in a week is far too many people drowning along the west coast of Phuket. Yes, it's been rough, but there's lifeguards at these beaches. They put these red flags out. I don't know what else they can do to stop people from going swimming. And often the lifeguards, I've seen it myself, they say to people, they go up to them and say, no, you can't go swimming here. The people go swimming anyway. Then they get themselves in trouble. I mean, yes, there have been these 5 people drowning, but there are countless more people who are saved by lifeguards every day when they get in trouble in the rough seas off the west coast at this time of the year. So I hope we can do something to prevent further drownings, but I'm not really sure what we can do. Probably we're just going to have to put more lifeguards on the beach. That means money, and I know the lifeguards have had annual problems for the past 20 years trying to get money from the local government for more lifeguards. But if they're going to entice tourists and say, come and see our beautiful beaches, then I think it's probably incumbent on the local government to at least provide enough lifeguards for Phuket's beaches. And we're staying in Phuket with another story from PhuketExpress.com. This time, police get into a car chase with a Nigerian man on a 4-year overstay, seize cocaine from his home. Well, I think that headline just about says it all. Let's see if there's some more details. And the police chased after the suspicious sedan in Talang. The sedan was chased from Cheung Talay to Tepkasat 3 Road, passing the Heroines Monument to Pak Lok before heading to Koh Phangan, this is where I live, and then to Katu. The sedan finally became stuck in a ditch. The sedan hit many vehicles during the chase. So this is pretty much a chase around the sort of the middle part of the island, covering quite a lot of territory. The foreign man jumped from the sedan and ran away from the police for about 300 metres before he was arrested. He was a 26-year-old, a Nigerian national. His passport had expired 4 years ago during COVID-19. And he was allegedly selling cocaine in the Cheung Talay and Patong area, and concerned anonymous citizens had reported him to police. The article says that Mr. Anania is expected to be blacklisted and deported. He did not immediately enter a plea and is facing significant jail time for the cocaine and resisting arrest. So it looks like he'll be spending a certain amount of time in Thailand courtesy of His Majesty before being deported. Now to the latest political shenanigans, which I alluded to at the start of the program, and we go to an excellent coverage by coconuts.co, their Bangkok edition, and tomorrow's fraught PM vote postponed. That from the House Speaker, speaking about today's joint House sitting, which isn't going to happen. It says the parliamentary vote for Prime Minister scheduled for today will be postponed until after August the 16th. The postponement comes as Parliament waits for the Constitutional Court's verdict on the Move Forward Party's petition opposing the parliamentary resolution to block Pita Limjaroenrat's renomination as a prime ministerial candidate. Well, it wasn't just the Move Forward Party's petition. I think there were some 22 complaints that were filed by different lawyers about the fact that he wasn't allowed to stand for a second time as a prime ministerial candidate. And these announcements are the latest in a series of opaque political manoeuvres following Pattay's decision, that's on Wednesday, to form its own coalition government without the election-winning Move Forward Party. And the Pattaya Party leader Cholnan announced that it would not include the Move Forward Party due to their policy of amending the controversial Lèse Majesté law. So the Constitutional Court will get together in the next week or so to ponder that particular question, but of course it means there's no sitting today, and we won't have one until at least August the 16th. That'll be, over 3 months since the actual election. And speaking of which, nation Thailand says Thaksin likely to postpone his return to Thailand amid delay in government formation. And Thaksin, who has lived in self-imposed exile overseas since 2008, had earlier said he would be flying back to Bangkok on August the 10th. And the announcement late last month had come from his daughter Pattongtan, who is one of the 3 prime ministerial candidates of the Pattaya Party. And the source said Thaksin would likely schedule his return after a new government is formed when the political situation gets more stable. But no, the Bangkok Post has got a contrary story, and it says Thaksin's planned return unchanged. And former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawat's planned return to his home country remained unchanged. And that's according to the Pattaya deputy leader, who told reporters at the Parliament yesterday, denying rumours of the delayed return of Thaksin, who is widely believed to be Pattaya's de facto leader. And the deputy leader said everything remains the same. So one article saying that he's going to be postponing, another one saying he's not. August the 10th is coming up in 6 days. We'll soon know whether Thaksin arrives on that plane at the Don Mueang airport. But the prime ministerial candidate for the Pattaya Party has got himself into a bit of hot water. Also from Bangkok Post, reporting Sansiri defends Sreta against tax evasion claims. The property developer Sansiri yesterday defended the former chief executive Sreta Thaksin, the Pattaya Party's prime ministerial candidate, against allegations made by the whistleblower Chuit Kemonvisit that he was complicit in tax evasion. The former massage parlour tycoon presented documents which he said were strong evidence of irregularity in connection with a land purchase the company made in August 2019 when Mr. Sreta was the CEO of Sansiri, Mr. Chewett claimed that Mr. Srettha and Sansiri had colluded with the landowners to evade 521 million baht in taxes over a 400 square wa land plot on Saracen Road in Bangkok. He said Mr. Srettha could not deny his connection with the case because the company's minutes had shown his appearance and his signature on the documents, which were separated into 12 copies mentioning the names of the different sellers. And in its statement, Sansiri said the sellers were responsible for taxes and ownership transfer fees for the land sale, while the company had the duty of making payments at the agreed prices and getting the land ownership transferred. So Sansiri and Srettha Thavisin obviously going to have to try and explain a bit more about what happened in that case, given that he is a prime ministerial candidate. And it looks like Mr. Chewett, the former massage parlour tycoon, has again thrown a spanner in the works, and it will be interesting to see how that case trots itself out in Thai media. But that's all we've got for today's program. Tomorrow morning, I suppose, I'm doing a live program from 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. You can drop in with any questions or thoughts you have. There's certainly so much to discuss, and we're always open for anybody to join in, and we look forward to seeing you then. 9 a.m. Saturday morning Thai time, and of course on Sunday we've got Grumpy Old Men. Please subscribe if you get an opportunity. Big thanks to 5 Star Marine, our sponsor, and we'll see you next time.